I highly recommend having a look at. The first thing I want to say is if I go over to their recent announcement, they have already raised more than half their money through a private sale. In fact, they only need 10,800. The private sale, they raised 6,500. So there's only 4,300 ETH left in the public sale that's coming up on the 28th of this month, February. The value of each token, as you can see here, is 0.000141 ETH. And the important bit after this, the unsold tokens will be burned. And this is really important. Now, you need to be eligible to participate in the TGE. Any interested contributors are required to comply with the following. Join the Telegram channel, wait for the whitelist registration to be announced and opened, register on the whitelist and pass the KYC AML, wait for KYC approval. Now, if you go to the website, it's at the bottom already. Just join up in the mailing list and they'll update you with the information. But what is it? Well, when you're like me, I've been in the Middle East and I've had to do business calls with the company I'm working with, but for their UK office. I cannot use things like Skype, and they often do not have the ability to call internationally to where I am in the Middle East. A lot of the things like Skype and Messenger, whatever, get blocked in a lot of the Middle Eastern countries. There's security issues and whatever. So you need other IPs to bypass the whole system, and this is one example of where you use this. If you use a Tor network, that is doing similar by creating a network of IPs where, from a privacy point of view, it's near impossible to work out which IP is on which website, etc., because of the way it works. So you've got to understand, is from a security point of view, it makes it very difficult for you to be traced. From a usage point of view, when you're blocked from using certain IPs. I know myself from my financial stuff, I've got some sites that are UK based that are only accessible with UK IP addresses as part of their security because they're financial and banking, but they're only onshore. You can't bank with them anyway, so there's no reason for anybody that isn't British to actually use it, because you have to be British in the UK to actually have access to it. The annoying thing is, when I'm sat in Spain, I just want to check my status. I can't even access it. But with something like this, I can bypass and it thinks I'm in the UK. So there's a few examples. Then you get into data mining and other things that actually use multiple IP addresses to get information off websites. Point being, it's a multi-billion-dollar market. The estimated growth on that's around 16% per year. And I would say there's a good chance of that accelerating because more and more people are getting savvy to security issues, with us being monitored by governments, companies, and everything else. And the more obscure it is, the harder it is for them to actually get real information, because they end up with the not being sure who's got what, because the IPs obscure everything. Because although I've got my IP set here on my phone in Spain, I may not be the person using it if I use this platform. So they end up with different people using. You could have 100 people in a month using my IP, and not one of them actually be me. But let's get on to it. So the first thing is decentralized, which is an important bit. Blockchain-based, fully automated and decentralized system with all clearing of coins, association of the price, and distribution based on the offer and demand for IPs. So the actual system is based on the demand. Very simple. They may cause fluctuations in prices, but at the same time, if you're like me, you may have several phones and a couple of tablets sitting around the house that you could actually generate some cash from just letting other people use them. Privacy and security, improved security and privacy. As I was just talking about the Tor network, that's a prime example of where a lot of people are using things now. And it's not about doing anything wrong. It's the fact is more and more companies and government organizations are becoming extremely nosy. Data is king at the end of the day. This is why when you go and look at Amazon or something, the next thing is Facebook's showing you adverts for stuff you were buying on Amazon. they shouldn't be connected in that way. They shouldn't have access to that information. But it's a lot deeper than that, and that's why privacy and security and making it far more difficult for them to get a direct route to your information and who you are is important, because they shouldn't have it. Internal economy, you'll be able to share your device's IP address, or as a data center to share a full range of unused IPs to win real-time fiat exchangeable IPSX tokens in a safe way. All connections will be logged on the blockchain. The other thing is you can convert the tokens straight back to fiat, so you can cash out on it. Advanced integration, SDK and API integration. As a VPN provider, you'll be able to integrate your system with other SDK to let your clients choose from millions of IPs from around the world. Basically, you can set a business up through a website, through an app, where people actually log in and use your service, and all you're actually doing is integrating with IP exchange that provide all the IPs for it. Simple as that. And what they're focusing on is phones and tablets, which have their own IPs. The reality is, my phone I rarely use for any internet usage whatsoever. I'm probably a dinosaur in this case. I use a phone for being a phone. I've got desktop and everything else, on laptops. I don't really need it. So other people using that IP, you're welcome to it. If it pays for me to the point I can get a free phone out of it, I'd be happy with that. So the point is, a lot of people have these devices around the house. Your kids have got them, etc. And they've all got IP addresses on. You could be making some money off, because you just install the app, and away it goes. As an end user, you'll be able to install the app on your device and share your device IP in a couple of seconds on the IP sharing exchange platform, or rent an already existing IP from the IPSX platform. As a data center, you'll be able to share a full range of unused IPs on the IPSX platform. It's got 3 layers: blockchain layer, front layer, and VPN connection layer. Each of these layers will be described in a very detailed level on the design documents. Now, if I click on those, I assume it's going to open one up. I'm going to try not do it. Yeah, it's not opening it up, but I assume there's documents there, or will be there. So it's pretty straightforward. I don't really need to describe how these connect up and what's going on here, because all you're having is somebody wanting an IP and somebody selling one, and it's just going through and making it obscure to the outside world who you are, where you are, etc. And for me, allows me to watch UK TV from Spain. Now, it's not a new company in the sense that it's already been up and running from its concept phase of August 2017. And websites up, white paper and company information in 2017. Private investment launch, which they've already raised more than half the money they need. Public sale and IPSX launch token, that's coming up. Cross-device apps and security by the second quarter, and by the third quarter launch. So the timeline on that is quite narrow, in the sense that within the next 7 months, the whole thing's going to be up and running. And it's not really a surprise, because although it's all on the blockchain and everything else, the technology behind it already exists. The integration with mobile phones is app focused, so the technology is basically just getting everything in the right place, pushing the marketing, and away you go. The guys behind it all the LinkedIns are there, and I say, as I always do, go through the LinkedIn, see what they've done before, get an idea of the people so you know they're genuine, etc., before you make your own decisions. And this is why I don't click on it and go, oh, look at this guy, he's done the XYZ. I recommend you do it yourself, because then you get a full feeling for the company if it's one you want to invest in. Now, we've already covered the token sale, and this is the value of the tokens, but one of the important bits is they're generating a lot of tokens. The good thing is they're going to burn any excess tokens, which obviously is useful in valuations of any tokens that are left at the end of the sale. Now, the breakdown and the distribution: 20% for team and advisors, bounty 2.5%, incentives for early investors 27.5%, sold to the community 50%. So that's quite a huge chunks actually gone out to the community. I would say have a read of this yourself. They go through the KYC, AML. where they're going, a bit about the team. We already talked about the timeline. There's not a lot else to cover on this. It's not that big of a white paper, but it is very comprehensive, and it talks about the market. And the fact is, the market's growing. Like I said myself, I use it. I use VPNs, and I didn't used to. It's just that I find you need it more and more these days. I mean, even trying to log into some of this stuff in the UK, it keeps directing me back to Spain. So for me, it just simplifies a lot of the process. Because what I have is, like, for example, say I want to go to a website in the UK, it will automatically go .es, so I get it in Spanish. But also I might be actually after the UK customer support and things like that. So there's lots of reasons you would use it. The other good thing about this is you don't need to be buying a month's worth in one go. You can use it for 5 seconds, for a month, or whatever. So the point being is you can use it as in when, which is another important bit. And it's on the ERC20, so it's on the Ethereum network. There's an explanation in the white paper about how that all works and how the contracts are made on the smart contracts. It's one I'm expecting to do quite well on the public sale. Like I said, the private investments almost sold out. Then they've already sold more than half of it before they even took it to the public. So I'd say watch out for this one. And that opens up on February the 28th. So take a look, see what you think. If you like it, please like the video, please share, please subscribe, and please